Good evening, Lake Orion. I'm your host, and I am between Taorminas. Hello, Lake Orion. How are you guys doing? Sammy, how you doing?
Good. You know, Ian's been on a little bit of an extended vacation.
Yep, Ian's been on a little bit of a vacation.
Yes.
Sad, isn't it?
Yes, it is.
Well, he'll be back next week.
Yes.
You know. So how was your week?
It was all right. Decent.
Nice. Got a lot to cover this week in the sports world.
Yes.
We got the Penn State scandal. We've got the Tigers, the AL Central Division. Obviously, they were leading. Now they're tied.
Yep.
Obviously, the trades are obviously for Omar Infante. Didn't I predict that?
And Bruno Sanchez, too.
Yep.
And then the Detroit Lions.
And the Detroit Lions and the Jailbirds and then the Callouts this week. But let's first discuss with a very serious topic, which is the Penn State scandal. Obviously, it caused a lot of sanctions. 4-year bowl ban, loss of scholarships, Paterno's wins vacated from 1998 to 2011. Do you
Let's
feel...
not forget the $73 million that Penn State's going to have to...
$60 million.
No, 73 if
Okay.
you count the Big Ten.
Right.
You know what I mean? For their losses. I
Right.
mean, like, it's a sad day, you know what I mean, for Penn State because these kids, they weren't even involved in it. You know, this is a whole new coaching staff over at Penn State that it just doesn't add up, you know what I mean? Like, because these kids, they don't deserve this punishment, you know, for what happened in 1998. You know what I mean? When Jerry Sandusky, what Jerry Sandusky did was wrong, and and then you know, then Joe Paterno, Grant Spanier, Tom Curley, and
Gary
Schultz covered it up. I mean, like, these kids didn't have anything to do with it, and now they're going to pay for the next 8 years with scholarship losses and like it's going to be rough over there at Happy Valley.
Well, obviously, the issue the NCAA sent on Monday was that they put athletics ahead of academics, and that the message was clear that no one person is above the university. And at Penn State, they've been viewing that for years with Joe Paterno being on top of the university.
It's going to be very difficult, Ant, because if you look at it here, because like these people got, what are they going to do on Saturdays? You know, they go out to Happy Valley and watch Penn State football. You know what I mean? Like, there may be some of the players that are just not there for the educational value and just there for athletics. It's common.
But I think, isn't that the message that they're trying to send, is that you need to value your academics over your athletics?
Well, that's true in a sense, you know, but it's true, but, you know, but most of the people, you know, you see, you know, most of Kansas State College, I know this happened to USC 2 years ago, I mean, like, with scholarships, and Lane Kiffin over Kansas. I don't know how Bill O'Brien's going to handle this with the 4 years.
So you're not certain that Bill O'Brien is going to handle the, you're not certain Bill O'Brien, you think he's going to be coaching Penn State throughout this whole process?
No.
You don't think so? Why?
No, because if you look at it here, I mean, you know, Bill O'Brien says he's going to be coming for the long haul. I mean, like, you know, I mean, like, this is going to eventually take its toll on him, and he's a very strong-willed man, but it's just, you know, 4 years, you know what I mean, it's going to be very difficult.
You think it's going to be difficult?
And he signed a 5-year contract, you know what I mean, so he'll be in his first bowl season after 1 year, and it might still not go to a bowl game.
Well, if you look at also how they're going to, do you think that the competitive side of Penn State, a lot of people in the Big Ten are comparing Penn State to Indiana, the Indiana of the Big Ten. Do you think Penn State's competitiveness is going to go down?
Yes, because if you look at, absolutely, because, like, you know, I mean, like, you're going to have the diehard recruits
Right.
that come out and go to Penn State.
Right.
But, you know, unfortunately, to compare them to Indiana, you can't compare Penn State and Indiana in the same sentence. This is so surreal because, like, this is what I think Penn State might be worse than Indiana.
You think that Penn State's going to be worse than Indiana?
Yeah.
Well, I look at it like this. I see that Penn State is going to bounce back from this. They're going to bounce back better than ever.
Yeah, but how long is it going to take? This is going to be a long time.
It's not going to be like SMU.
Yeah, but this is worse than SMU because SMU was forced to stop football operations for one true year. Then they went on another year worth, you know what I mean, of not playing. I mean, like, you know, the series. And look at SMU still having to try to recover. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
You know, I mean, like, this is going to set the program back maybe another 10, 15 years.
You look at the difference between Penn State and SMU is, you know, obviously Penn State had another option, which was the other option was going to be the death penalty.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't think, and if you look at the impacts of the death penalty, how that impacts businesses, how at least they still have a season, at least they're still going to have football. But I do agree with you that the impacts of the academic scholarships or the academic or recruiting scholarships is going to be a lot more severe, especially over a longer time period. Do you think 4 years was just, or do you think that it could have been more?
I thought Penn State could have had the death penalty because, like, you know, I thought, you know what I mean, for this scandal of this proportion, you know what I mean, this lack of institutional control, you just got to really look at it.
Mm-hmm.
That they did and you know this was much worse than the payment plan over at SMU.
Final thoughts about Penn State: bounce back or no?
No.
I think they will. Well, all right. So we come back. We will talk about We'll talk about the Tigers, and we're also going to talk about Lions here on Between Taorminas on ONTV.
No Bears in this segment?
No Bears.
Prescription drug abuse is a national epidemic. The new in way to obtain drugs is through parents' or grandparents' medicine chests. Removing prescriptions from your cabinet is the best way to keep drugs out of the hands of our young people. We've got to work together to protect our teens, our seniors, and our environment. Clean out your medicine cabinet today. Please participate in Operation Medicine Cabinet and drop off your unwanted or expired prescriptions at one of our law enforcement drop-off sites in Oakland County. We can't ignore this situation anymore.
Please remember that CFL bulbs, you know, those curly, energy-efficient light bulbs everybody is using to save electricity, shouldn't be thrown away in your trash. Neither should batteries or home medical sharps. You can check with your local community to see where they can be recycled. Some retailers will allow you to bring them in for recycling. You can also order simple kits online that allow you to collect your recyclables and simply mail them away to be properly recycled. This green tip was brought to you by your friends at Waste Management.
We are back on Between Taorminas on ONTV. That was a good first topic on Penn State.
Yeah.
Now we're going to go more into Detroit, in the Tigers.
Okay.
Very good week. Swept the White Sox. That was a big, big accomplishment right there.
Yeah, but if they have Cleveland, you know what I mean? Like,
Right.
if they, you know, if Cleveland can't, if the Tigers can't handle Cleveland, then there's a big problem.
Well, they're at, I still call it Jacobs Field,
Progressive Field,
but I still call it Jacobs
right
Field.
next to
because-
the old gun arena known as the Q now.
Right, but I mean, you look at yep, you're right. If you look at, it's about winning series. The Tigers have been doing that lately. Obviously, they did not do that.
They haven't done that all season until now.
Right. So, what do you think the biggest improvement has been for the Tigers?
Hitting, pitching, all gotten better. You know, if you look at it, the hitting is starting to pick up. Cabby and Fielder are starting to pick it up. They're starting to get production a little bit from Bosch. Peralta's starting to hit a little bit. You know, I mean, like, and they're also getting timely hits from Delman Young. You know what I mean? Like, a guy who I bashed earlier in the season. Yeah, it's got to come and hit. You know what I mean? They're starting to hit.
Do you think that with sweeping the White Sox, it sends a message to the rest of AL Central that the Tigers are back?
If they lose to Cleveland, then that's going to tell me otherwise.
So you think if the Tigers don't at least win 2 out of 3 against Cleveland, it's going to be all for naught?
Right. It'll be all for naught.
Obviously, the schedule's going to get a little bit tougher. Obviously, still playing Cleveland, still playing New York and Boston.
Well, they might have got a break with New York because Alex Rodriguez just went on the 15-day DL.
What about Ichiro going to New York?
Well, it's an interesting move with Ichiro going to New York because he's going to add speed to that lineup. He's going to add, he's probably going to be playing left field over there because you got Granderson at center, and then you're going to have Swisher at right. You know what I mean?
Right.
Like, it's a very interesting move here because it solves New York's left field problems, but it also, it's going to add, it'll add a very interesting dynamic, especially in AL East.
Well, back to addressing the Tigers do you expect the Tigers and the White Sox to be competing for the Central lead?
Yes, I do.
Also, if you look at it, Cleveland with that win, I mean, if you look at that series, means a lot to Cleveland because Cleveland needs to get back in the race.
Right.
And they kind of needed that,
I don't know if Cleveland has the firepower enough to get back in the Central race, but I think it's going to come down to, the Tigers and the White Sox because Chicago, I got some concerns with them at that pitching rotation. Even if Danks does come back, I just don't think that Chicago has enough pitching. I know their bullpen. They got Brett Myers in that deal, but I just look at it here. I think the Tigers have, the Tigers, and of course, we're going to talk about this big trade in a minute. I think the Tigers have enough firepower, to win the Central, pull away. And, of course, we're not even sure about Victor Martinez yet.
Right. Obviously, with him maybe coming back later this month in August. So, we're going to see how that goes. Speaking of the trades, the Tigers made two very big moves, giving up Jacob Turner to the Miami Marlins for Omar Infante.
And that's Bruno Sanchez.
I called, if you remember, when we discussed this with Ian. I don't know where Ian is right now as we speak. Anyways, we talked about didn't I bring up Omar Infante?
Yes.
And look what happened.
I was surprised. I'm going to admit I questioned the move a little bit, but, because I thought the Tigers.
Why the Tigers needed to address their second base
issue. But I thought Sean Figgis would win a better aspect in Seattle. But, it's a very interesting trade. But because,
Omar Infante returns.
Omar Infante in Detroit, better upgrade, better. He's better at, a lot of the positions, especially at second base. And then, of course, Bruno Sanchez is the question mark here because he's another righty. You don't need another righty. You're going to have 5 righties going to get each day. That scares me enough because I think you need to get some more balance, I think.
So you're saying the Tigers should get a left-handed pitcher?
They should have got a lefty.
So you think they should have got a lefty? What about the second base issues? What happens to Ramon Santiago? What happens to your boy Ryan Rayburn?
I heard, according to Jim Lito, Ryan Rayburn's going to be playing left field against left-handed pitching.
Okay.
And with Santiago, I think he's going to be a platoon player, you know what I mean? Like he was early in his career, and during the season, you know what I mean? I think he's going to be a platoon player.
So you think that so you just don't you don't think you were going to see the last of Ryan Rayburn like a lot of Detroiters?
A lot of Detroiters want to see the last of Ryan Rayburn. I don't think we've seen the last of Ryan Rayburn and Glenn Miller. Ryan Rayburn will be here for the long term.
Wow. So you're projecting that he's going to be there for the long term.
Yep.
Okay, what is your final thoughts about what's going to happen with the Tigers going forward? Obviously, Cleveland, big series. Toronto, big series.
They don't have Bautista.
Canada.
They don't have Bautista.
That's good. Do you think that'll impact Toronto?
Yes, I think because, Jose Bautista is Toronto's biggest threat, their home run hitter. They got our best RBI producer. I think that, You know, and the pitching matches were very favorable for the Tigers. You know, the Tigers can sweep that series against Toronto.
So, but also if you look at it, Toronto needs that series too. If they're going to want to contend in the East, the dangerous AL East, I might add.
And of course, Boston. This might be their last stand in a few weeks.
So you think it'll be Boston's last stand in a few weeks?
Yes.
All right. I do think that the Tigers will be just fine. As I said, it's all about winning series. They win the Cleveland series. They win the Toronto series. I think they're going to be feeling pretty good about themselves.
Well, yeah, I think they are right now. But if they lose to Cleveland, if they get swept by Cleveland, then all that goodness goes away.
All right. Well, when we come back, we're going to talk about Lions jailbirds, and also we're going to have some call-outs here on Between Taorminas on ONTV.
3 students were in the hospital this past weekend.
2 honor roll students were hospitalized last night.
5 local students lost their college scholarships last night.
Another local high school student has passed away.
Another 3 dead.
Claimed the life of another local teenager.
The cause?
Alcohol.
Alcohol. I don't want to be another number.
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 I don't want to be just another number.
Prescription drug abuse is a national epidemic. The new in way to obtain drugs is through parents' or grandparents' medicine chests. Removing prescriptions from your cabinet is the best way to keep drugs out of the hands of our young people. We've got to work together to protect our teens, our seniors, and our environment. Clean out your medicine cabinet today. Please participate in Operation Medicine Cabinet and drop off your unwanted or expired prescriptions at one of our law enforcement drop-off sites in Oakland County. We can't ignore this situation anymore.
We're back with Between Taorminas on ONTV. We got our last topic, the Detroit Lions. Man, they've been in prison. Now we're having releases.
Yeah.
What's going on?
You know, I have a list here of the Detroit Lions releases. If you could take a good look at this. You know, it's like, you know, you had Nick.
How about read those out?
Of course, you have Nick Farley, who was arrested for DUI and marijuana possession. And, of course, we have Aaron Berry, of course. Our friend Aaron Berry was officially had a DUI and assault, and now he's now gone. And then, of course, you had Johnny Kubert, who was offensive tackle, released on July 24th. Corey Williams faced a DUI, and Michael LaShore had marijuana possession twice. And that's not even counting the Domicong Sue. You know?
So the Lions so do you think the Lions should have a police person?
They need a policeman there. They need a judge there at training camp because eventually there's going to be somebody that's going to be in so much trouble over there. That's going to be somebody that's going to get caught.
Didn't we discuss this last week where we had the
This is all the NFL. This is just the Lions.
Aren't the players got to hold themselves accountable, right?
Yes.
So you're saying the Lions organization needs to intervene?
They need to hire a policeman and they need to hire a judge.
They need to hire them?
Yeah, they need to hire a policeman and a judge.
You know how much judges get paid?
Yeah.
They get paid a lot of money.
Yeah, but the Lions need one after those 7 arrests.
So you're...
Goodell's not a disciplinarian as we first thought.
So you're saying that... So pretty much you're going into the point where the team... Which was my argument last week, which was the teams need to handle their responsibility.
That's why, if you look at it here, enough's enough with the Lions. I mean, like, they need to hire a policeman and a judge because that, they can't handle themselves on their own. They need to be, if they're going to need to be treated like babies, and treat them like babies.
What do you think Jim Schwartz needs to do?
I think he needs to give a muzzle on his players, I think, you know what I mean? And just like, can't give him a slap in the face, you know what I mean? Just give him like just give him a suspension.
So you're saying that they should give him a suspension?
Correct.
Works for me. I mean, I'd go with the 3-strike policy.
Yeah.
So what's your final thoughts on the Lions?
If they don't get the Jairbirds on control, then it's going to be a long year in the NFC North. Because Green Bay is still going to be good. Chicago got a whole lot better.
I agree with you. I agree with you there. All right, we're going to go with our call-outs this week. The favorite time of the show, which is the call-outs. I'm going to start off. I got one group of guys to call out this week. It revolves around last year. I went to Lake Orion football games. I felt very confident. I mean, my brother played on the defensive line. And last year, just watching, giving up points after points after points, my call out this week's the Lake Orion defense. Last year, it was a very long year. Got to put those aside. This year, you've got a lot to prove. You've got a lot to prove to go out there and to basically stand your ground. Last year, you let too many teams score too many points on you. That's unacceptable. That's not Lake Orion football. Lake Orion, defense, line, secondary,
Backers.
Backers. You got to step up. This year, bring Lake Orion defense back. I think you can do it? Yes. I do think you can do it. I do think that it's going to be a different year from last year. But also, remember, it's not given. You got to get it done on the field. You got to get it done at practice. You got to get it done on the field. Do I think you can do it? Yes.
Well, you take a look at the people that I look at. A few weeks ago, I called out the San Diego Chicken.
Yep.
Yes. And now I found out there is a connection between Clarkson and the San Diego Chicken.
Uh-oh.
So what I found out was there is a good connection between Clarkson's boys basketball coach and athletic director, Dan Fife, and the San Diego Chicken. Here's why. I found out from my scouting, from my sources, that there was that you have a connection with them. You have there's I just can't imagine the San Diego Chicken, meeting a San Diego Chicken, and of course, if I could find a picture, I haven't been able to find a picture yet of you two just having a good picture together, but it would be a perfect combination. You know what I mean? And of course, we all know San Diego Chicken's been famous, and of course, Mr. Fife, of course, being a famous Clarkson coach, and of course, famous Clarkson athletic director, I think it's a good combination.
Mm-hmm. Wow.
Mm-hmm. It is. I'm not bashing Mr. Fife or anything, but I just think, it's a good combination.
Wow.
Mm-hmm. The next guy I'm going to call out has got a song named after him.
Oh, my God.
Song by Michael Jackson and Billie Jean. You know what I mean? Doesn't like my sports teams real much. He's the athletic director at Lake Orion, Mr. Bill Reese. What? You don't like my sports teams? You don't like my? Every time I project, you're like Phil Jackson of the Los Angeles Lakers. You're Zen master. You're a Zen master. You believe in the power of Zen. Everything that happened to my sports teams always came true. You said my Dallas Stars would not make the playoffs. They didn't make the playoffs. You said the Minnesota Twins would win within the Central in 2010. They won it over my Detroit Tigers. I can't believe this. Everything you said has gone true.
Isn't there a connection between Mr. Reese and the San Diego
And there's
Chicken?
also a connection between you and the San Diego Chicken.
He's met him before.
Yeah, I heard about that. Mm-hmm. I have sources that indicate it. This year, I guarantee, and you put a decree on me and said the Dallas Stars will never, ever win a Stanley Cup again. Well, I'm going to guarantee this. In my lifetime, the Dallas Stars will win a Stanley Cup again, and you'll be eating your own words.
Wow.
And the third one I'm going to call out, I have a huge beef with this Local 4 sportscaster. No, it ain't Bernie Smilich. It's Katrina Hancock. Katrina Hancock, why? A couple years ago in 2008, when I was at the Adams-Orion game
with Mr. Reese,
I wanted to get a word with you. I wanted to talk to you, and you snubbed me. You snubbed me off. That's what you do. I don't know why, but you have a history of snubbing off people. You didn't give Lake Orion any respect. You gave Lake Orion respect 2 weeks ago because the U.S. Senior Open. But, you know, you hyped up Rochester Adams being a very good team. They went into Lake Orion, and Lake Orion won that game on the road at Adams by 2 touchdowns. You got to look at, I question where you get your expertise. I question where you get your, you know, like, where do you get your sources from? Where? You tell me. Where do you get your sources from? Drita Hancock, I look at sports reporting. I don't think you're that good. You know what I mean? No offense to women in Title IX. You know what I mean? But I just think that there's a lot of other women that are better than you. I think there is. You know? Drita Hancock, calling you out. I just don't think you're very good. I just don't.
Wow. So you don't think Katrina Hancock's that good?
Well, I don't think she analyzes her, you know what I mean, her info a lot. You know what I mean? I just don't think that she hyped, you know, I don't think she is what she's meant to be.
Well, that's your opinion. Obviously, a lot of other people disagree with you. We'll go on from there.
Mm-hmm.
Well,
I also forgot to mention on the fight call out. I still think that, and I know Pat Caputo's got connections to Dan Fife as well.
we cannot go without an episode without mentioning Pat Caputo, can we?
Yes, we can.
Wow. Mm-hmm. You're cold. Well, that concludes this week's edition of Between Taorminas. Come join us next week.
Hopefully Ian's here.
Same time, same place. Hopefully Ian's here. If not, we'll just have to, do a little tombstone and a little bit of a burial for Ian. We'll see. God bless y'all. Good night.